I think we're live.
We are live. Welcome,
Wednesday
everyone.
night live.
That's right. Sorry, we're running a little bit late here. We are outside on our deck, so hopefully it'll stay cool and none of our neighbors will start doing
Blowing of leaves.
Yeah.
Should you push that button and see what happens? That share button? Nothing ever happens whenever I push it.
Oh, okay.
All right. Anyway, how's it going, everybody?
Yeah, how's everyone doing out there? Welcome to our Wednesday night Facebook Live. We get together every week at 6 o'clock on Wednesday, and we give you some updates on the state courts, any legislation that's important and new that's going on, and most importantly, immigration updates and answering your questions. That's really our main thing. We like to answer questions. If you have any questions about immigration or any other legal questions, but really immigration is the focus, please put them on and we will get to them and we'll try to answer them.
Absolutely.
Right.
And I am monitoring the questions, so hopefully we don't miss any. We did miss a question last week, but came back to it. And did we introduce ourselves yet?
I don't think so.
We always forget to introduce ourselves because we feel like
well, we know each other, so,
whoever's
yeah.
here already knows us, but that may not be the case.
That's right. I'm John Gardner. This is Radlin Mendoza, and we are the immigration law firm Gardner and Mendoza here in Virginia Beach and also in Newport News. So
those are 2 physical locations, but of course we have clients all over the world.
Absolutely.
Which is super cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
All right, so before we get started on our immigration and court updates, you have an announcement to make from our attorney.
Oh, that's right.
Really quickly, because we say this every single time.
And I always forget this too until you remind me that we're lawyers, but we also have a lawyer for our business things. That's a legal term. Anyway, and he always reminds us to tell you that these Facebook Lives, when we get together, that this is for informational and educational purposes only. This is not legal advice. We want you to ask questions. We want to give you information, and we're going to answer the questions, but it is technically not legal advice, and so don't treat it as such. Okay? That's
all
the
right.
Disclaimer.
And then,
our attorney.
Yes, and the next thing that we like to do is do a little brag session. Our newest 5-star Google review. Yeah. It was positive, right? It was a positive review because it was 5-star, and the Google they changed it a little bit, and it says the positive things. So the positive things that this reviewer wrote: professionalism, quality, responsiveness. So that's awesome, especially the last one. And the reviewer says, invaluable during our visa application, the complexity of regular business travel during the application process. I recall making a call late one Friday evening due to concerns with global entry, and the law firm's highly responsive and provide assurance about my particular circumstances. I would thoroughly recommend Gardner and Mendoza. Many thanks. And many thanks to this particular client who reviewed us. We really appreciate that. So,
way to go, team.
Yeah, absolutely. And we like to read the review, of course, to brag about our team. Our team, there is, what do they say? There is no I in teamwork. Is that, did I make that up? Something like that.
Something like that.
So, John and I, we started the law firm 20 years ago. This is our 20th year anniversary. And we are forgetting to mention that every single time we come on, but I think it's pretty momentous.
Yeah, it's awesome. Totally awesome.
Just 20 years, but we could not have done it without the team that we have and that we have had. We've had other members, but and we're always super thankful for our support and the team, and we couldn't get a positive review without them. So hats off to our team, and again, thank you for this positive review. So you're going to go over some state court updates. Should we eat some cookies real quick?
Not yet. Not yet.
Last week we ate mooncakes.
Yeah, last
from
week
a friend.
we were sampling the mooncakes for the Mid-Autumn Festival, the Moon Festival. This time we've got some lovely cookies from
Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
Little different location.
Yeah,
but
these
also
are from a client.
Yes, this is from Dewey's Bakery. It's world famous ginger spice Moravian cookies from Winston-Salem,
Yeah.
North Carolina. It says this is the world's thinnest cookie. And John and I are going to taste test
Yeah,
for the
we'll
very
try 'em.
first time. Wink, wink.
See how they stack up to the mooncakes.
Right. Well, they're totally different. So John doesn't want to eat the cookies right now. I guess he wants to get to work first.
Yeah.
So.
Okay,
So just quick shout out to Leslie Lee, who's on right now. Thanks for joining us. Aunt Jill is here
yes, my
watching.
aunt is joining us from South Florida. I always love to say South Florida because it just sounds cool.
Yes, we
Yeah.
appreciate your support, everyone who joins and watches us and supports us. We really do appreciate it.
And it sounds cool because she is cool too. She's a very cool aunt.
Extremely.
Yeah. Yep.
We don't want anything, Aunt
No.
Jill. It's just true.
Yeah.
Her husband's not too bad either.
Not too shabby, as my dad would say.
he's
Not too shabby.
He's a cool guy.
Anyway, so we're going to start with the state court updates. That's one thing that I do every week, just to kind of give you guys an idea of what's going on. State courts are up and running, of course. Reminder that you will need a mask to get into the courthouses, no matter where you're headed. There's social distancing in the courtrooms. Everything is marked out with tape. It's really easy to follow, so you don't have too much to worry about. When you're entering the courthouse, you're going to be asked some questions. They're pretty much the same everywhere you go. You know, whether you have any COVID symptoms, whether you know that you've been exposed to anybody who has COVID, whether you've traveled outside of the country in the last 14 days, whether you've been asked to quarantine by anyone in the last 14 days. Those are the typical questions. Some of the courthouses, are doing a temperature check to make sure you don't have a fever. But other than that, just make sure you have a mask, answer your questions, and you're good to go. And I will say, I spent a lot of time in Virginia Beach today. I was also in Norfolk today. I was in Newport News yesterday.
I don't know how you do it.
So, I mean, I'm all around every day. And I will say that, just to be patient and to be really careful reading the dockets, because with the coronavirus, the clerk's offices, they do a great job, and they really have been struggling. I mean, it's been so many cases got continued so many times, over and over again, and they've got to coordinate the dates when the officers are going to be there. They have to coordinate when the witnesses are going to be there. They've got to get subpoenas issued, withdraw subpoenas if the case is being continued, and so on and so forth. It's a Herculean thing to do, in my opinion, just on a normal day. And with coronavirus, it's been really intense. And so I'm finding a lot of cases that, they're not showing up in the right courtroom, and they've been transferred, and a couple cases have been getting continued because subpoenas didn't go out and whatever. So, rather than get frustrated and angry about it, just go in knowing that that's a real possibility and just be patient about it. They're really doing the best they can to coordinate a very complex situation. So, and make sure that you look at your paperwork, and if you don't see like the officer, or you don't see people that you think are part of the case, double check, because I've had several cases that got moved to a different courtroom, and my clients have been in the wrong courtroom, and I had to go look for them, and I realized that they didn't check the update. So that's my update. Okay.
And you can't bring in phones into the courtroom, correct?
No, you cannot bring a phone. Yeah, a couple things. You do not need, this happened today, and I wanted to thank you for reminding me. I wanted to mention it. You don't need an ID to get into the courthouse, okay? A lot of people come all the way up, and they turn around because they think they have to go get their ID. You do not need an ID to get in unless you're going into a federal courthouse. State courthouse, no. Federal courthouse, yes, okay? Phones. You cannot take a phone into any of the courthouses, so do not take your phone all the way up to security and then realize you got to turn around and go put it back in your car.
Do they have lockers?
They do have lockers.
Okay. You have to have a quarter or 50 cents or...
I don't think in my entire career I've ever seen a bigger struggle and seen more frustration in people's eyes and souls than when they're working with the coin-operated lockers in the courthouse, trying to figure out how to work them. Okay, so
don't bring your
leave
phone.
The phone in the car.
You don't want to be touching all of those things anyway.
Trust me. Leave the phone in the car. You do not want to be working with the locker. if you can avoid it.
Okay, well, that's in contrast to immigration office. So I'll just mention that you do need identification to get into the immigration office, as well as your appointment notice. And you can bring your phone. It just has to be in the silent position. It says you can't use the phone on the second floor. I may have used it when a 9-year-old was calling and may have picked it up. But you're not supposed to use it. You're not supposed to make phone calls. I may have taken a picture of a cute little baby that's on our post. But you can bring your phone in, and a lot of people.
Post. I love that post.
It was so long. If you take the time to read all the way through, it does walk through our process a little bit at the office. But anyhow, you need ID to get into immigration office. You need your interview notice, and you can bring your phone. So, very different from the state court.
Yes.
I just didn't want to confuse anyone because I don't want people to hear, oh, we don't need ID, and then go to immigration. And
no, you do need it for immigration. Not in immigration court. Well, immigration court too, but just USCIS office.
Awesome, thank you. So, guys, reminders: please put your comments in if you have a question. We want to answer them. We want to be put on the spot and see whether we can actually answer the question. It's like a challenge. It's like a personal challenge for us to be able to answer the question. So I'm going to just jump in and do a couple of brand new immigration updates, and then you can jump back to the driver privilege card. So the big news that we have today is that the public charge rule, the Form I-944, which we have been talking about for several weeks now. So there was a moment in time, February 24th, 2020, we all had to file the I-944, the public charge rule form, with your green card application. And then there was some litigation, and then that was halted. I was going to say injunction, right? That was halted. And then we didn't have to file the Form I-944. In fact, the guidance on the USCIS website said don't file the I-944. They took it off of their website. Didn't have to do it. Now, as of yesterday, we do have to file Form I-944. I don't want to get into the litigation. That's John's department, but we're going to skip that tonight.
Yeah, not tonight. Sorry to disappoint.
I know, right? Bottom line is, if you are filing a green card application, you need to file your I-944, and that's for anyone who's coming back into the United States. Even if you are an immigrant, you may have to show that you will not become a public charge of the United States, and this is the form that you use. If you've never taken a look at it, you can look at it on the USCIS.gov website. Practically speaking, from our point of view and our client's point of view, this form is a bear. It is a bear. It's a nightmare. It's a bear nightmare. And there is a lot of documentation to get together in order to fulfill the requirements of this public charge rule. So you do not, they allow you to get the green card, and you're not inadmissible because the immigration officer thinks you are going to become a public charge of the United States. And so that's the big update for today. You got to file the 944 now, guys. And we never stopped filing it because we kind of knew this may happen, and but we've been asking our clients this whole time to please provide us the documentation. So if you filed your green card application,
how about somebody who wasn't with us, who filed it at the time when they weren't requiring it, and they've already filed it, and now you're saying it has to be included.
Right.
What's going to happen with those?
So most likely what's going to happen, and according to USCIS website, as well as according to the American Immigration Lawyers Association, they will most likely USCIS will most likely issue a request for evidence. So if you didn't submit, is there a bumblebee?
There was. I just want to make sure that it doesn't bite you on the face, because I know you're so sweet. All these bugs are always trying to get to you.
That's sweet. They really do bite me though. So you will be requested, USCIS will send you a request for evidence. They'll say you need to submit the I-944 and all of the supporting documents. You'll have 87 days to respond to that. But if, again, as we've been talking about for several months now, there is an extension of 60 additional days tacked on to your due date if you get that request for evidence in between the dates of March 1st and January 1st, March 1st, 2020 and January 1st, 2021. So there's a little extra time to respond to these, and you're probably going to need it because it does take quite a lot of supporting documentation. So if you have any questions about that, and you need some help with that clarification, please let us know. You can, put your email in the comments and we'll get back with you. I will say, and our team said, please do not accept new clients on Facebook Live tonight before the filing fees go up. So you also know, if you've been watching, that the USCIS immigration filing fees are going up, set to go up. Anything filed after the 2nd, October 2nd, you're gonna be subject to the higher fees. So I promised that I would not accept any new clients for a filing. I did a couple. We did accept some clients yesterday that we met with, but we can't help with any new filings, unfortunately. But if you have any questions about the new filings, the 944, shoot us a message in the comments or through Messenger, and we'll help you as much as we can. We're just not going to be able to we can take your case, but we're not going to be able to file it most likely before the fees go up.
Right.
Correct.
Right.
So I'm not trying to say we can't take your case. I would never say that.
Of course.
But it's going to be quite difficult to file before. And there are a lot of people that are reaching out to us right now and the previous weeks about having our law firm assist them with the filing so they can save money on the filing fees, and they can have, just someone there watching and helping, assisting, and monitoring this long immigration process that you're going to be going through. It's good to have a helping hand, and we're absolutely there for you if you need that assistance. So just a quick recap from the previous weeks. Again, the fees are going up, so make sure that if you're filing on or after October 2nd of 2020, you check the USCIS.gov website for the updated fees. Do not send in your form with an incorrect fee. It will be sent back to you months later, and that's going to cause some delays. Okay, so please don't do that.
Yeah.
And
costly or time-wise.
Yes, and I know this sounds like I shouldn't have to say something like this, but if you're using the credit card form, because you can now pay with credit card or your own personal check, please make sure your funds are in the account. Okay, and they have to be in there for a while, because once USCIS receives that, they don't charge the card right away. It might be 30 days or 45 days. So please make sure there are funds in the account. If you're nervous about that, like we get nervous about that, and our clients, many of our clients pay with credit card without any issues at all. If you are nervous about that, you can pay with a certified check or money orders, but please have funds in the account. That's all I gotta say. We don't usually have problems, but when there are no funds in the account, the case comes back to us. We have to do this repackaging, re-signing. It's a real hassle, and I would hate for that to happen to you.
Right.
And then you're not able to take advantage of the lower fees because your package is coming back. Hello to everyone who's joining us. We really appreciate that. Ms. Corazon, nice to see you.
Yeah, we've got people coming on.
Yes. Any questions so far?
No,
I don't think we have any questions. I guess you guys are quiet today.
Yeah.
Not a problem.
So, jumping back to the state court real quick, I was in court today, and one of the judges that I was in front of today asked me what's going on with the driving license, the driver's privilege cards, and that he had heard something. So I just wanted to, I update that every week, and since a judge asked me about it, I figure it's important info that I should continue to get out there.
Absolutely.
Right? And as you know, the General Assembly has passed a new law It was signed into law by the governor, and it goes into effect on January 1st of 2021. Okay, that's this January. And basically what it is it is a driving privilege card. It'll be just like a driver's license, but it'll only be for driving. You won't be able to use it for any other purpose, okay? The difference is you only have to show 3 things in order to get it. You'll have to show that you can pass the driving test, you'll have to show proof of insurance, and you'll have to show that you had income in Virginia reported on a tax return, and we assume will be how they will expect to see that in the prior 12 months, okay? Sometime during the prior 12 months. So if you can show that you had income in Virginia, that you have insurance, and that you can pass the test, then you'll be able to get a driver privilege card, which will allow you to drive legally in Virginia, okay? Again, you won't be able to use this driver privilege card for any other purpose other than driving, because unlike a driver's license, the driving privilege card does not require that you show any particular immigration status in the United States or residency in Virginia, okay? So you'll just have to show those 3 things that I mentioned, okay?
So on a scale of 1 to 10, how important is it for the clients that you represent in court? How important would it be for them to have a driver's license? Or how helpful, I should say?
On a scale of 1 to 10, it would be a 10. I mean, this is hugely important, and I hope that many of my clients will take advantage of it if they're eligible. The reality, and this is not getting into a debate about immigration, this is just a fact, that there are a large number of people in Virginia, and any state for that matter, who have been in the United States for many, many years, who have worked here for many, many years, and who drive pretty much every day for work, okay? And they do it every day without a Virginia driver's license, running the risk of getting in trouble. And it's really just a safety thing as much as anything else. It's just like, okay, look, we know these drivers are out there. We may as well at least have them provide proof that they have insurance, that they can pass the Virginia driver's test. You know, maybe they have a license from Mexico or Honduras or Guatemala, but we don't know exactly what the standards are. Presumably they're about the same. But this way we know for sure that they're familiar with the roads here and what all the signs mean and what all the laws are. So to me, it's a win-win because it just makes the roads safer, and it also allows all these folks who are working hard every day to do it and drive to work without being in constant fear of having a major problem. And you're driving without a license, you get pulled over, and maybe you get detained, and you think, okay, well, it's not the end of the world, but maybe you get detained, and your 11-year-old and your 9-year-old are getting off the school bus in an hour, and you're a no-show to pick them up, and it can really spiral. It's a horrible situation. So yeah, if you know anyone, now I'm on my soapbox again. See, I didn't mean to get on the soapbox about it.
It's fine. It's important to you.
It's a great new law.
It's important.
If you know anyone who will benefit from this and who will be eligible for it, please let them know. And if they have questions about it, you can contact us, and we will absolutely do everything we can to help you. And I also, before I shut up for a second, I want to say hi to my mom. I just saw that she was signed on there. So, hi, Mama.
Hello. Thank you for joining us and seeing your son. I mean, me too, but mostly John. All right. We have a question from Claudia, and it's a really good question. Why should someone apply for citizenship, and assuming U.S. citizenship? So that's a great question, Claudia, and thanks for it. Why should someone, and it's my turn to get on a soapbox. It's not really, it is kind of a soapbox. Citizenship, U.S. citizenship is completely near and dear to my heart. And it's maybe not what people think and the reason why. So a lot of people say, yes, you should apply for citizenship so you can vote. That's important. So you can serve on a jury, because everyone wants to do that. You can work for the federal government. And these are some of the reasons that are put forth as to why one should apply for U.S. citizenship. My reason is so you don't get deported or removed from the United States, or there's a much, much less likely chance of that happening to you. Now, Claudia, I'm sure you're a law-abiding person, and maybe this question is not even for you. But if the person is here in the United States and they're a lawful permanent resident of the United States, there are certain things, big or little, and emphasis on little things that people can do. And I'm talking about crimes that could get a person removed from the United States, no matter what the ties to the United States are, no matter how many U.S. citizen children and your U.S. citizen spouse is here. So this is kind of my soapbox, and especially if you have minor children who are lawful permanent residents as well, and when you naturalize, and you naturalize before they turn the age of 18, then most likely, you know, depending on the dates and everything else, we'd have to check all that, but most likely they're going to receive U.S. citizenship as well. So you're not only protecting your future here in the United States, you're protecting your children's future in the United States. And so I could go on and on about this, and I have a story to accompany why I feel so strongly about this. I'm not going to tell the story tonight because, you know, I don't feel like getting choked up tonight. But the long story short, or long story long, is you know, this same situation happened to me when I was just a long time ago. When I was a young attorney. I'm still a young attorney, but I was a lot younger then. And my client was not a U.S. citizen. She got into some issues, and it mainly dealt with addiction to drugs, and had a couple of charges, and she got deported. And there's nothing at all that I could do for her because of that. But this person came in as a toddler, came to the United States, and if her mom had naturalized, then she would not have gotten deported and separated from her children. So I'm thinking about it from that point of view. And Claudia, I'm sure, you know, these issues are not going to apply to you, but one never knows what can happen. And John and I have worked on some pretty sad cases.
Horrible.
Of, you know, long-term lawful permanent residents who
I've had clients get sent back to countries where they knew not a single person and could not even speak the language.
Right.
Because they'd been in the United States so long.
So, I'm a big proponent of filing for U.S. citizenship if you're planning on remaining in the United States, staying in the United States, but it's completely a personal choice. And you certainly don't have to, and my reasons... the reason that I want my clients to apply for U.S. citizenship is because I was scarred as a young lawyer seeing what happened to this client. And then we later saw some really bad things happen to people that, you know, the person getting deported with a whole U.S. citizen family, and who wants to go back to a country where they've never been.
A lot of long-term permanent residents, and again, Radlin is right. This is a very personal decision. I mean, we understand some folks have no interest in becoming U.S. citizens because they just don't. I've lived in other countries, and I can see how hard it would be to make that final step to choose to become a citizen of that country.
Right.
Living somewhere and becoming a citizen of that country are two very different things. But the reality is a lot of our clients who are long-term permanent residents, they're living distinctly American lives, and this is home. They've been here for so long, and the reasons that they don't naturalize tend to have to do less with that and more with just procrastination,
not getting around to
just
it.
Not getting around to it. It's always
the filing fees are
it's
expensive.
always a tomorrow thing. It's next year I'm really going to do that. It's probably been on the New Year's resolution list year after year after year, and so those are not good reasons to not do it.
Right.
Okay. So.
And that was my mom's reason for waiting 30 years. And I'm sure she loves being the example of this every single time I talk about it. But my mom immigrated to the United States, you know, in the mid 60s, and she was a lawful permanent resident for 30 plus years. And I'm going to say the only reason she applied for U.S. citizenship is because our grocery store, where she worked every single day, 9 to 9, 364 and a half days per year, we had fire and it closed. And so it freed up some time for her to apply for U.S. citizenship. And she's a citizen now. I'm going to say that my mom's naturalization case is my biggest failure, because when she became a citizen, she left and she went to the Philippines permanently. But no, I'm kidding about the biggest failure. She became a citizen, and now she's able to travel freely and stay out of the United States for as long as she wants, but still be able to come back with no issue. So,
and routinely comment on Facebook about American politics.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Okay, so
Claudia says, Claudia is asking right now, how long does it take? So pre-COVID-19, I'll give you those dates and my prediction on how long things are going to take. It was about 6 to 9 months, all in all, and right now it's really hard to say how long that's gonna be, because as we've talked about before in previous Facebook Lives, there's a lot of descoping of federal contracts, which I guess in layman's terms means cutting federal contracts, and the federal contract folks help process the case when you mail the case in. So I was talking to an officer and he was saying, yeah, we get these cases and they're not complete. They're not turnkey for them to just go ahead and do that interview, just right away, which is what it's supposed to be. So those contracts being gone, it's just going to take longer to process the citizenship cases. I'm going to say, I'm not even going to venture to guess, but I will venture to guess. Let's just take a wild guess.
Yes, take a wild guess.
9 to 15 months. 9 to 15 months processing an N-400. So again, something that we say week in and week out is, if you're thinking about filing anything, whether it's N-400, whether it's I-130 petition for a family member who's outside of the country, whether it's your marriage adjustment case, you need to file it now if you're thinking about it, because processing times are just going to take longer the longer that you wait. So if you're really interested in filing, you should definitely look into filing it as soon as possible. I know you guys are tired of hearing us say this, but it is first in, first out with regard to immigration. So when you file your case, that's the time that you get in line, and the sooner you file, that's going to be your place in line.
And if you do decide to file, obviously we're going to recommend that you call us and let us help you with it, because the other reason that I think a lot of people procrastinate on applying for citizenship is because, the old "if it ain't broke, don't fix it." The things are going well. They've been going along for years without any problems, and the idea of somebody putting a magnifying glass over their life again kind of freaks them out a little bit. And they think, gosh, what if I mess something up?
Right.
So let us help you not mess it up, okay?
Absolutely. And it's a process, and we get it. We understand how people are very nervous about filing. And yes, Claudia, it is the N-400 application, which you can take a look at it and see what you think. It's $725 until October 2nd. So, but it's our clients are really nervous. They're super nervous about the process. And as John said, even though they're completely fine, clean, no problems with the law, no problems with anything at all, it is nerve-wracking for someone to take a magnifying glass to your whole life, which is on 21 pages. It happens to be on 21-page application. So with an N-400 application, the whole immigration history is on the table, okay? So if there was any type of misrepresentation, albeit small, on the green card application or at any point in your immigration side, that's on the table. That's fair game, and for the immigration officer to ask about it. Why did you come into the United States? Oh, well, you came in on a tourist visa, but then 1 week later you started working. Did you tell them when you applied for the visa that you're going to start working a week after? Was that plan? So all of this is totally fair game. So anyway, we're here to help you. We also have Citizenship Day 2021 coming up. That's February 20th, right? Let me see here.
Is that the date?
I think it's February 20th, because I always say, it's the day after my birthday. My birthday's on February 19th. And we're brainstorming right now how to do Citizenship Day safely so we can help the community and continue to do that. It's been something that we've been doing for so many years, and it's a super great event. So stay tuned for Citizenship Day if you want to wait to get it done by an immigration professional for free. All right.
That's right.
Claudia,
And-
that was such a great question.
Yeah, great questions.
Yes.
Got us going on that.
Yes.
And I want to say hi to our cousin Den, who's joining us. Well, your
Oh,
cousin
cousin Arizona. What a good son you are. And our old roomie's on here too. Ruel is here. Hello,
What?
Ruel. Good to see you.
I missed the roomie. That must have
Yes.
scrolled right past me there.
Let me see if there are any other questions. But great citizenship question. And now is the time to file for citizenship. You're not going to be able to vote in November. Everybody knows that. But for those who are waiting on their N400 interviews, they really, really are trying to process quickly. So we hopefully, if you filed and then got everything shut down because of COVID-19, we're really hoping that the local office, if you are local, and all the immigration offices around the country are trying to process the N400 so that people can register to vote and be able to vote in November. All right.
I don't know. I missed. Was it Belle that Kate was on?
Yes, there she is, Isabel.
Yes, there she is. She's living the good life.
She is. Yeah, she is. Yeah, we won't say any more about that.
Nope, we'll just leave it at that. But life is, you've seen the Life is Good. Belle needs definitely one of those shirts.
Life is good.
Yeah.
Everyone. All right. We did, let's see here. I'm just kind of going through my notes to make sure that we didn't miss anything. But again, those filing fees are going up. Those are the things that's the main thing that we wanted to talk to you about, as well as the I-944. Is it cookie time?
It is. Tell me about the cookies.
The cookies.
Yes.
You want me to tell you about the cookies again?
This is from
I
Winston-Salem.
know. This is also from Winston-Salem. And
Winston-Salem,
one of my
North
clients...
Carolina. Yeah.
One of my clients brought these to me at the immigration interview. I guess they were sure the interview was going to go well because it was in their car. If the interview didn't go well, I wonder if we would be holding these cookies right now.
Yes, of course.
Yes, of course. The interviews always go well, guys. The interviews always go well. So they're ginger spice cookies. The Moravian, that's the Moravian Star. I kind of looked it up, and this company, the Dewey's Bakery, is they've been baking these cookies since when, 1930
Said
something?
1930.
1930. So
1930.
okay, let's break them out because
All right, let's do it.
we haven't had dinner yet, but that's okay. We're spoiling dinner.
Mm-hmm.
But check it out. This is the world's thinnest cookie, guys. Huh? Can you see how thin this is?
Wafer
This is a wafer.
Wafer
thin.
They could. No.
Last week it was mooncakes from China.
mooncakes
And this
from
is
China.
the world's thinnest cookie. The world's thinnest
That's
cookie
right.
from Winston-Salem,
From North
Carolina.
Carolina, just south of us.
Tasting them again for the very first time. Okay, we've had these before,
It's a
but
one-biter for me.
Is it a one-biter?
For me, it is.
it's a one-biter when I'm not on Facebook Live. You know, when I'm standing at the sink, it's the one-biter. But
That's right.
very, very delicious.
Totally different than the
To our
mooncakes.
clients.
Equally delicious.
Equally delicious to our clients. Thank you very much for
All
that.
right.
Anything else?
Any other questions?
Anything else? Let's
Anybody
see.
else have any questions for us? I think that's it.
I think that's it. I think that's all
right.
we have today. But thank you guys for
Yeah,
joining
thanks
us.
for joining us tonight.
And if you think this information would be helpful to anyone, please like and share our page, because we do want to get information out to the community timely and make sure everybody is up to date with everything that we talk about. And see, we got on late, but we still were able to just talk and talk and talk. And John and I will just talk and talk and talk.
Yeah, we're lawyers. You can't shut us
You
up.
cannot shut us up. But we will shut our own selves up.
That's
We're going to shut our own selves up. And if there are no more questions, forever hold your peace until next time.
Until next Wednesday.
Yes, we
All
will.
right.
We are always going to be here every single week. Now, next Wednesday, we may have a scheduling conflict, but if we do, we'll let you know about it. We'll either do a pre-record, do it on Tuesday or Friday or Thursday, but we will be here. Oh, look, and your mom says she has learned a lot.
Yeah, I didn't know that there was anything else she could learn. My mom is a very educated woman.
Yes, a big time reader.
Yes.
Big time reader.
My mom knows pretty much everything,
Yeah,
as far as I
she does.
can say.
She really does. You're lucky to have such a smart mom.
Yep.
I am too. Smart
Yes.
mother-in-law.
No question about it. Okay, everyone.
All right,
have
guys.
a wonderful night. It's great seeing
Two
everybody.
thumbs up.
I'll see
If you
next
have any
week.
questions, you can find us here on Facebook. Leave a comment. Send us a message through Messenger or info@gmlaw.net.
Take care,
All right.
everyone. Good night.
Take care. Bye.